pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Please have a seat. Roll call, please.
Karlovic.
Here.
Kramer. Reichner.
Here.
Reese.
Any audience comment on agenda items only at this time? Yeah, just stand.
Regina Russell, elected Democratic Committeewoman for Ward 2. Regarding the rental licensing fee, is the fee change going to be comparable to other third-class cities in Pennsylvania?
It's going to be one that's pretty much been agreed on by the people that contested it and our solicitors work with them.
I'm a little confused when you say contested.
Well, there was people questioning the $1,000 fee.
Oh, okay, so that's the committee that meets
Yes.
to authorize the, okay, well, that's very good. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on the agenda?
I'm going to the native, Sunbury American Street. When is this project going to start?
Mr. Weber's still doing the engineering. He'll be in town Thursday. We'll be having discussions with council and also municipal authority, and we're waiting for the information on another grant. Jody and I talked about it this morning, and it was supposed to announce it 2 months ago. Of course, they haven't yet.
I would make a suggestion, when they start this construction, you gotta dig up Reagan Street. They start from 4th, go to North 2nd, the first part of it, second part from North 2nd to Front Street, so you don't have the whole street done up.
What they're going to do, they're going to start in front, that's the toughest spot, and work towards second. And you're not going to dig up the hole, they're going to do it in phases. So we don't do exactly what you mentioned.
I wouldn't want to see another 4th Street in the back one. I don't even know if that's done yet, other than paving.
4th Street, of course, was a PennDOT project, and that won't be until next year to pave it. But the 3 intersections, which we'll be discussing tonight, well, actually, there's an invoice for the 3 intersections on 4th Street, which will be under construction this summer.
Okay, I don't want to see this look like when Plummer goes now, and that's horrendous.
We appreciate that.
And also another thing, if the contractors start working, to make sure they have all the products they need to do the job on site before they start working. You don't have to have them wait, or you don't have the stuff, that they have to wait for products to come in. That's a bunch of baloney.
Thank you. Any other audience comment on agenda items only? All right. I'd like to present a proclamation to the Bacon State Community Library for National Library Week. Whereas our nation's libraries build communities by providing resources that inform, entertain, and enrich the lives of all people. And whereas librarians help children and adults read, learn, and connect to information resources around the world and support them in the pursuit of knowledge. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions where people of all backgrounds can be together and connect. And whereas libraries are a resource for all members of the community regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status by offering services and educational resources that transform lives and strengthen communities. And whereas we recognize and thank our own local library from its inception as the Sunbury Public Library from 1937 to 1941, and as the John R. Kaufman Jr. Public Library from 1941 to 2002, and currently known as the Dagenstein Community Library from 2002 to present. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Kurt Karlovich, being Mayor of the City of Sunbury, County of Northumberland, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, on behalf of the City of Sunbury council members and citizens, do hereby declare April 7th to the 13th, 2019 as National Library Week. I make this into a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Kramer?
Yes.
Reichner?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Ister?
Yes.
Karlovic?
Yes. And I'd like to introduce the library director, Melissa Rouse.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Deggenstein Community Library. My name is Melissa Rouse, and the mayor has asked if I talk to you all just a few minutes. I promise I won't take up too much of your time. First of all, if you have not been to the public library lately, you're here. So before you leave, go upstairs and check things out. I'm positive it is not the library of our youth. There's a lot of things that are going on in our libraries today, lots of happenings and lots of changes. This week is National Library Week, and the theme this year is Libraries Build Strong Communities. And here at the Deggenstein Community Library, we strive to build a strong community around our programming. We have something for all ages. We have Mother Goose on the Loose, we have toddler tales, preschool story time, teen and tween events. We've got book bingo, DIY crafting, and we even have some social and civic programs such as our opioid discussion. We had a Meet the Cannabis night here, we had blood pressure testing, we had a How to Buy Your First Home seminar here as well. But in 2018, we offered 427 programs, and we had 10,627 people just attend those programs. Not checking things out, just coming to our programs. Libraries are no longer simply book depositories. We are very active and we're vibrant, and we are growing community centers providing lifelong learning opportunities. But one unique program that I thought I'd highlight tonight is on Tuesdays and Fridays, we offer armchair aerobics. My visual aid. Classes are open to all ages and all abilities, and it is free. Every Tuesday and every Friday at 9 a.m., before we even open our doors, we have a group of about 20 or so folks that come into this room, and they do armchair aerobics. Many of our participants are from the nearby apartments at Scott Towers and Chestnut Towers. We also have a very large contingency of Suncom residents, as well as their caregivers that come. Now, we know that research shows that when your body's active, then your mind's active, and you're going to stay active in your community as well. So I'm not trying to take the place of the YMCA. Please don't quote me on that in the paper. I don't. The YMCA is a wonderful facility, but it's all the way out on 4th Street, and for some of our seniors, transportation and membership is prohibitive. So again, this program is free. What's kind of really unique about this is that it really has grown in the last 2 years that we've had this program. It's really become a community all on its own. They have been doing things such as getting together for potluck lunches afterwards, going out to the movies together. They celebrate life's milestones along the way. We built a strong community just around that one program. So now just imagine the strong community that we're building around those 400 plus programs that we offer every single year. Again, I encourage you to go upstairs, check us out, see us. We're free. Don't need anything for a library card. It's one of the best cards in your wallet. It's priceless. And lastly, I'd like to say in closing, thank you so much for helping us build a strong community, because when you have a strong library, you have strong residents, and you have a strong community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Ms. Melissa Rouse for speaking to us and allowing us to use this community room for a council meeting tonight. I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2019, and the reports of the Police Department, Treasurer, Engineer, Code Office, and Planning Commission. Do I have a second?
Reichner?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Ister?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yes.
Karlovic?
Yes.
You guys forgot roll call. Did you roll call? Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
You're so far back there you can't hear us.
My apologies.
You're out of the loop. Just get up here.
So on to the new business regarding our administrative assistant in the front office at City Hall. Myself and for the council members, you do have a copy of the current administrative assistant job description and the updated one for what the office is currently doing. Myself and our city administrator have been evaluating the administrative assistant job description and have discovered that there is a significant difference between what the current job description says and what Jolynn is actually doing in her role as an executive administrative assistant. Much of that is due to the fact that many of our main office duties of the city clerk and community redevelopment coordinator were not properly assigned when the transition of city administrator and administrative assistant took place. The job description was written in anticipation of the expected roles and responsibilities for the positions. A comparison process was conducted by line to review the city clerk, the community development coordinator, and community development administrative assistant job descriptions that are on file to ensure that all duties previously assigned are now accounted for in the new front office structure. There were 12 city clerk responsibilities that were omitted when we transitioned into the new front office structure. As a result, Jolynn has filled that gap and is currently performing duties of a much broader scope and higher level of responsibility than are currently listed on the original job description as an executive administrative assistant. In your folder, you will find the original administrative assistant job description and the now accurate, updated executive administrative assistant job description. You will see on the updated version, many of the job duties have been added or modified to fit the current job role and needs of the front office. Please note that the redevelopment authority duties have been removed and the redevelopment authority will now perform those duties themselves while maintaining communication with us. The administrative assistant's pay of $12.24 an hour was based on the job description as it was written and not on the actual duties and responsibilities currently required to accomplish the workload of the front office. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, this position in the United States typically falls between $35,720 and $85,280. So therefore, I make a motion to correct the administrative assistant's job description to be executive administrative assistant and to reflect the actual roles and responsibilities currently being performed as a necessity to meet the office workload demands and to adjust the pay to be commensurate with the actual roles and responsibilities of the job at $15.24 per hour. This is not a pay raise, this is a pay correction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Reese,
Yes.
Eister,
Yes.
Barnhart,
Yes.
Kramer. Yes. Reichner.
Yes.
I have one question though. So does this, Jody, affect your job description? Is that something that needs to be revisited as well, or do you feel like that's adequate to what you're doing?
In the review, I reviewed mine as well to make sure that all the duty responsibilities, the job responsibilities are covered, and it does not need to change my job description.
Okay, so the thing
My
is-
job description was very, very different from what the city clerk had been or the community development director, although a lot of the community development stuff fell to mine.
Okay. So you feel the stuff that we originally put on is what you're doing?
Yes,
Okay.
I foresee no adjustment needed to mine.
All right, Councilman Reichner regarding the annual rental licensing fee.
We had, in writing, a question on our licensing fees that were established, I don't know, 12 years ago. So my department did an audit on what the fees, stuff like that, and come up with a figure that was reasonably close. So it's marginal right now, but it's reasonably close. The fee was $1,000 a month, and or $1,000 per new rental property. My recommendation to the solicitor who was dealing with the people that filed, I don't want to say it was a complaint, but filed to change it. And they came up with, I think they wanted to, their attorneys wanted $500, and I think they came up with $600 as a median because we could justify those expenses. And so that's where that is. And it's at the point where something has to be done. I don't know if you need to make a motion at this time. Make a motion that we change the fees from $1,000 a month to $1,000 a unit for new licensing to $600 a unit.
And this, just to make sure it's clear, this is for properties that are not currently
It's
rentals?
just for new rental
We
properties.
don't get into these. Any other questions? If not, I'll second that motion.
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer. Yes. Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
Councilman Ister, the green light go?
Green light go, which is the 3 intersections Mr. Bubba just referred to on 4th Street. There's an invoice from CES Engineering for the sum of $28,500. I can make a motion to pay that.
Kramer. Yes. Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic.
Yes.
Next invoice for CES for engineering for Reagan Street, $22,920.91. Make a motion to pay that invoice.
Second.
Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic.
Yes.
Kramer. Yes.
All right, city administrator offered the grant project invoices.
Right, so what we've just done is indicative of our current process for paying invoices related to grant contracts, in which we individually vote on payment of the invoices. It has been proposed that there is a more streamlined way that we could go about this, and that is when a grant is approved and awarded and it comes with a contract, it is specified the amount of money in each, for engineering or the different aspects of the contract. What we could do is, as the invoices come in, as long as they are within the parameters of the contract and not going over the amount that's originally been approved or a change to what's been approved, that we should be able to go ahead and pay those invoices as they come in, rather than bring them to council and vote it on individually. And that, I just propose that we make that change to the process, to make it more streamlined.
And you also just mentioned if there's any change orders, that's a different,
Yes.
we bring that to council.
Any changes would come to council, any overages would come to council. Yes.
And the reason it was done in the past, there was no questions from the audience and taxpayers, where did the money go? So we used to break it out each individual pay, but to save time and streamline, like you mentioned, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Can I ask a question before you?
We're already in the vote right now.
Ister,
I'll answer that quick though, seriously, before we vote, in case there is something.
Would you at least be able to reflect it on the agenda as they come in and not necessarily vote on it, but actually reflect it here? In case there are questions? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but then technically then we'd be listing every invoice, because there's a lot of contracts other than these engineering ones for the construction side of it. We have other contracts. We either do them all or we don't do them at all.
I kind of agree in that standpoint of just to keep everyone updated so there aren't those questions of where the money's going. On the grant projects, since those are something we talk about so regularly in the meetings of like updates, would it be so bad to at least when we're doing those quick, like, so Jim, when you used to do the Chestnut Street updates, we can quickly just say, we paid this much for engineering, we paid this much, just as an update to the public when we're just doing an update anyways. Not necessarily have the votes that way, doesn't delay the
Correct.
process, but
Correct.
just keep updates on what's been going on with the project. Like we're kind of doing now, but just add in what we paid. Does that make sense?
Correct.
I think that's fair, in my mind.
Well, if you put it on the agenda, that's no
Just for
problem.
information.
Yeah,
that's fine.
just something basic.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Is that,
Yeah.
okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
And this is actually kind of recommended by CityCog that we do it this way, because every meeting that we're voting on this, since they're already approved through the grant process that's already been approved, it's literally double and triple work, and it's making the project more lengthy.
Who would just be the one though that just makes sure that it is within the boundaries? Will it be CEDACOG, or, so they'll be the one that says this is good to go, and then it'll be just paid? Okay, as long as someone's the commissioner.
ready? Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
laborer?
Yes, so the Department of Public Works is in the process of hiring part-time laborers, so we have one selected to hire. His name is Glenn Obie, and the hourly wage proposed $10 per an hour.
I'll make a motion to hire him.
Second it?
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer, Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kramer, tax exoneration.
We have tax exonerations in the amount of $1,607.73. I'd like to make a motion that we pay these, and we exonerate these people.
Second it?
Kramer, Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
I'd also like to say that we have a general fund bills of $100,077, $864.43, and liquid fuel of $8,901.37. I'd like to make a motion that we pay these bills.
Reichtner,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Karlovic,
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
City Administrator?
Yes, so I believe that when I make a public mistake, that it deserves a public apology. Last week, I sent out a message regarding street sweeping. We knew that the street sweeper was broken and thought that we would be doing the residents of those streets a favor by telling them that they didn't need to move their cars. And then I heard later that morning, the following morning, that police were asking people to move their cars, and I just generated more confusion by making that announcement that people didn't need to move their cars. And so that was my failure to communicate with the police department. But then I further learned that there are other reasons why we go ahead and have the cars moved. One is it is a no parking ordinance, not a street sweeping ordinance, and so therefore I was only looking at the street sweeping portion of what we were doing and not realizing that it's a no parking ordinance in itself and should be enforced anyway. And the reason that we do that is because there are other utilities that take advantage of the fact that the cars are moved. For, maybe the municipal authority, the water authority. There are other street projects, from what I understand from Steve, that sometimes need to be done that they can get access to the street and what they need to do without the cars parked there. So I just wanted to apologize for my mistake and also wanted to inform everyone about why we have people still move their cars and we're enforcing that no parking ordinance, especially April through November when all that kind of work is being done.
All right, thank you. All right, well, on to your next announcement.
Yes, I just wanted to mention about I did receive a letter that the mosquito-borne disease control program will be commencing. That's the Northumberland County Conservation District program. And that you may see there is an integrated mosquito management approach trying to mitigate where we have standing water in old tires and places that are not drained well. And sometimes it will require a treatment. And if they ever are going to do a treatment, they will give the city information ahead of time so that we can provide that notification to the public. So this is just information that mosquitoes season is arriving. And that you might see some people out there trying to take care of it. Catch mosquitoes, test them, kill them in some cases. Oh, and the next one, I did receive a letter from the Northumberland County Anthracite Outdoor Adventure Area Authority. This letter was to notify us that the authority is applying for a grant from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources for a trail study project on property that is just adjacent to the city of Sunbury. It's out near the Hamilton underpass. So it isn't within the city limits, but because it's adjacent, they wanted to let us know that they were pursuing this project. And it's a study for the project, not a project itself. The plan is to possibly have a trail, a nature trail where the public can have free access to it, showcase the area's natural beauty. I felt it's a worthy project and have decided and would like to go ahead and support that with a letter of support for their grant application. And so I've drafted one, and it doesn't require a vote or anything, but just notifying you that we're supportive of that. I think it's good to think of the city of Sunbury as kind of a gateway to that anthracite outdoor activity area. I think that we could use that to, as an economic and community development kind of platform that we can kind of tag on to. As you know, we're situated so beautifully here in the heart of the Susquehanna River. We have the river, we have the beautiful hills around us and countryside. And so a project like this that would enhance that and give our residents free access to enjoy the natural beauty is something that we should always be looking for those opportunities and supporting. That's my spiel on that one.
Thank you. Letters or recommendations?
You'd like to see it? Oh, okay.
All right, street sweeping schedule is in effect until November 30th of this year.
May I add one other thing? I spoke to Officer Hare today, and we agreed that this week would still be warnings, but as of Monday, the 15th of April, they will begin ticketing violators of the no parking ordinance at on those nights.
Our next upcoming city council meetings is April 22 at 6:15 p.m. in the Sunbury YMCA in the first floor youth center. It's the room in the rear of the building. There's an entrance door off on the left side towards the playground, or you can go into the front door. May 13th of this year, city council, it'll be at our normal second floor city hall council chambers. And then May 27th, there is no meeting in observance of Memorial Day. The Heart and Heritage 250th Anniversary Committee meeting is April 24th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. The next New Year's Eve committee meeting is May 22 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. The free city cleanup days at the Sunbury Municipal Authority is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. on April 23rd, the 25th, the 30th, and May 2nd. And the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. At this time, is there any audience comments? Let's start on this side. Please stand and announce your name.
My name is Dale Keller. I'm here again about the crosswalk sign. Evidently, I have two pictures here that I can give you guys. Evidently, the state and the city came to an agreement where they moved one of those signs out to the middle of the road. Okay, here's the sign at 10. That's the one supposed to be up by the crosswalk, which was. This is one showing that the one that was out in the middle eventually got pushed down like that one. And now, when I walk down here, it's not even leaning against the tree, it's on the ground. That's it. I was asked at that last meeting that I attended, which was several meetings ago, if I had any ways of, for making a way to solve this problem. I had come up with two. The first one would be to have overhead lights. I would prefer red means stop across the crosswalks with somehow hand push things for the pedestrian pushes so the light and flash and they can cross. I understand it's a state highway, and I've been in other states where even a red light, many hundreds of yards prior to that, if that red light is green and it's going to change before you get there, there's a sign there flashing, letting you know you're not going to make the light, prepare to stop. Now, you can once again have hand push field like you do for your crosswalks down closer to in the city here, and have overhead lights. I don't know how far away you want to put them, and have them flashing, could even be yellow, alerting motorists that there's going to be people in the crosswalks. putting a sign in the middle of the street evidently doesn't work. And as far as when I walk down here, there was a van parked in front of the one sign with its four-ways on. I'm going to guess going to one of the sub shops. Which, of course, coming up Market Street, nobody could even see a sign for a crosswalk. Then I watched a sheriff's vehicle drive right past this problem. Somebody parked in front of it in the yellow zone. 2 officers in there drove by. City cop. Seconds later, came up. There's a street out here that's a one-way street. You can't go in. He went to the very next one, an alley, and made a left and went down. Nothing going on down there. There wasn't any vehicles but his going down the street. But yet we have a vehicle parked in a no parking zone in front of the sign. And evidently the state, you guys, the sign has basically failed, at least at my crossing area. You can put your pictures in here, you can share them with the state, whatever. I'm hoping that I don't have to come down and address the situation. There was a police officer or someone associated last time I was here, saying, oh, well, we need the pedestrian to come out with pen and pencil and paper and start writing down the license plate numbers. For one, I have to learn every state's license plate. Then I'd have to hopefully be able to read it as it was already passed. I also thought about my camcorder, but by the time I turn that on, it finally comes on, I can't get it. There are also the cameras sitting above red lights down here in Sunbury, whether they're active or not. And I know the technology is there. Put them on these overhead lights, and you can get. You wouldn't need the pedestrians or the community or anybody else to come to court, waste all this time if you have a picture right there of the license plate number.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
These are your receipts.
Yeah, I'll work on it. Other than that, I have a couple other issues I won't bring up at this time.
Can I just answer something? This does have to do with the crosswalk. So I do remember you from previous times. We have some other areas in the city which are difficult, uncontrolled pedestrian crossings. So I recently attended, well, it was a webinar just last week. It's called Safe Transportation for Every Pedestrian. And so it was put on by PennDOT, I want to say, or LSAT. LSAT. Which does that stand for? I don't remember either, but it's LSAT. But what it did was it really went through some different options as far. I know you would like people to. We would like to cite people who are not doing it right now, not stopping as they should for the pedestrians. But we also can do a better job maybe of marking the crossing. I know what you asked about as far as lights. There are some lights, but there are many lights like you're talking about. The red flashing light is not an approved signal for pedestrian crossing, but we can look, and Steve and I will work together through that STEP program to try and find something that we can improve that crossing in particular.
Well, the reason
make
I
it a little bit
said red means stop, yellow means slow down. You don't
Right.
have to stop. I can take anybody who wants to a yield sign coming off, like Route 15 coming down from Lewisburg, and I'll show you how coming off Lewisburg going into the community, people aren't slowing down. Okay, if you make a left, if you're going there, they'll slow down as you go. But I've sat there because my son was right across the street, and needless to say, I could sit there for 15, 20 minutes at times and watch numerous vehicles not slow down whatsoever coming off Route 15. Problem being, I understand, red's not what you consider.
Well, it's not allowed.
Well,
So we will do what we can that's within the law.
Yeah, I
that we can
understand, I understand they have their laws. But like I said, I say red because it means stop, yellow means slow down. Yellow's fine. They need something
Yes.
flashing, and it's not to put one on one of those signs and set it out there because that's not helping.
Right. So what we did was, based on your complaint, we at least started with, let's put that out in the middle where it's more visible. I know that one got knocked over and is broken, and one got moved because
They
it
both
got
got moved.
Again, I just want to let you know that it's an ongoing way that we're trying to address this issue. And I don't want you to think that we are just completely, disregarding everything you have to say, because we're not. We're working together, we're working through the programs that we have available to us to try to find a better solution.
I
And
understand.
we'll keep doing that.
I moved those so that traffic didn't pull out. Okay, so they have, what the state law is, they need to be within 50 feet of the crosswalk. Okay, so that gives the ability of traffic pulling out, that they're not running over the signs. So I offset them back. We're working with it right now to experiment where it fits perfectly with the traffic flow that we have and the conditions that are out there. Every place is different. So it may end up, the sweet spot's gonna be 25 feet on one side and 35 feet on the other side of the intersection with those in the center. But I have noticed that it has definitely improved with people stopping in those areas. Has it made the problem go away? Absolutely not.
And I understand what you say about within so many feet. Watched at 10th Street where semis have either made a left onto Market Street or made a left off to. And I understand that to a point, but down here where you have you don't have parallel parking, once you get past Marlin, you have where they pull in. And you move that down there, I don't know how it was hit. It was hit last Wednesday, those pictures were taken Friday, and the sign no longer leans up against the street, or the tree at the street, it's laying flat on the ground now. When I walked down here this evening.
Again, we're looking for solutions. Right now, those are the solutions that PennDOT mandates for us to do. We have to operate within their mandate.
But I was asked, I believe by the mayor last time I was here over the city, if I had a solution. Well, I came up with two. I understand red lights aren't what we understand, but like I said, I know the technology is there, and for the officer that wanted us to start writing down license plates, going to court and all this other stuff, there's cameras that can do that exact job and eliminate us having to identify somebody's license plate that's how far down the road.
Okay,
I thank you for your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
On Bob again, and my concern is the old Shamokin branch of railroad out through between Sunbury and that sign is approved. I was doing a little bit of research on it. Matter of fact, for a couple of weeks ago, I gave our county commissioners that alluded to the fact that a lot of that has reversionary clause in it, and it has refers back to the original property owner, so it's not available. And I think Bob Zimmerman told me that he owns the right of way from, I'm assuming, Falls Avenue to the Hamilton Hundred House. So there needs to be a lot of work done to find out just what of that is still available, and I don't think you're going to find it too much. Somebody needs to do some homework. I would be willing to serve on the committee to look into it. But
What's your, I'm sorry, maybe you just need to catch me up to speed. So you're concerned about that stretch of railroad and who owns it because, is why?
I'm just concerned that the county or somebody wants to take it over, we're not going to have any right to take it over. That's why I say they have to go back and research the deeds and see if there were or were not reversionary clauses in there.
And you're bringing that up for if somebody wanted to take it over for what purpose?
Recreation.
Oh.
But
Oh, the trail project? Oh, I see, but the trail project, I think, is further out from the Hamilton towards Shamokin, not back
That's where the
there.
problem could be.
Oh, I see, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean,
And
so,
as a matter of
yeah.
fact, there was a group at one time that tried to walk the trail. They met the owner of the property on each adjacent side, and he refused to let them through on those
Yeah.
that
So,
ground.
Mr. Bub, that's exactly what that study was probably going to be looking into. So it's just a study to see if it's feasible, and part of that will include, is the land available, who does it belong to? So all of that goes into that study that Northumberland County AOAA authority is getting the money for.
If I can find a copy of those newspaper articles, I'll bring them down to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other audience comment?
Vicki Anders. Is the Chestnut Street project finished?
No.
No. Okay, because the one manhole cover in
Yes.
Lanark is really down.
That's true. There's a couple, water valves, gas valves, and manholes to be adjusted. I think there's 2 catch basins and 7 light heads that we are in now, the back order will be replaced. And also the light stand that was hit on over the street, we've replaced. That should be done this month, weather permitting.
Okay, I live on a very small street up on Court Street, between 11th and where it curves down to Market Street. We have 1 or 2 cars, same residents, that refuse to move their cars on street cleaning night. They, I guess, pay their tickets, I don't know, every week. They throw their cigarettes, the street is so dirty, and the street cleaner can't get down to clean. And so they won't clean until the cars are moved. How do we get them to move? These people, they don't even have numbers on their houses. There's no house numbers on there.
So they're,
Which street did you say it was?
Court Street,
Between 11th
and
and
where
Market.
it turns down, right there you
It's
go.
right in front of
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the only ones that do not move their cars, all last year. And the neighbors all have to come out and clean up their cigarette butts and all the junk that they throw out there. And we have a lot of kids that play back there, and we don't know how to get them to move their cars. They will not move them.
Thank you. Any other?
Jan Dockey, what is the update on our cameras? What are we doing? All the money we got, was it spent? Is there any left? Are they fixing the cameras? Do any of them work?
At this time, we cannot comment on the camera situation. It's something that's,
You can say it's under,
it is currently under investigation, so we just
but
cannot.
we can't say anything more than that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you will let us know when?
When we can,
Yes.
yes.
When we know, the city will know.
Okay, Regina Russell, a few quick things. I want to make sure, one, that I personally understand the brush, looks like a new law now, I guess. So I have a couple of bags that have been sitting on the corner since last week. I need to put those bags that have branches from my hedges that I cut. I need to put those bags in a box and stack them on the corner to be picked up.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Because that's where I'm
Currently, what we're gonna
confused.
do is this week here, I'm not putting the policy into effect. We've been out picking up brush all over the place today. We will continue all week to clean up brush, and we will take it bagged or not.
It is bagged.
It will be picked up tomorrow.
All right, wonderful.
and then after that though, to be clear, you just stack the brush all together with all the butt ends facing the same direction, so it doesn't have to be, not in bags, we don't want it in bags, it doesn't have to be in boxes, just a pile, a condensed pile,
But
and then they'll come in
like
your
a
attic.
lot of times I'm cutting my rose bushes that have thorns.
If
It's
you
okay.
need something to contain them,
Yeah.
put them in an empty, unlined trash can. That way we can take the trash can and just dump it without a compartment.
So I got my electrician, okay. In the future, I know that we are kind of tight on the budget. In the future, will the city be able to post signs on the streets that have the days and time, like most cities have, where you're not supposed to park for the parking, I mean, for the street sweeping?
Signs are there.
And most of them are there throughout the city.
So if you find a location that doesn't happen to have a sign, let us know, because there are, how many miles?
37 miles a street.
There's over 30 miles of street in the city of Sunbury. And sometimes we do miss a sign. Maybe someone took it, maybe it just been missed, maybe it was replaced because of work. Sometimes we just don't know. So if you know the sign that's not there, let us know. We'll put up a sign.
Okay. How are the residents being notified of any of the changes, according, like the rental changes or the changes regarding picking up brush? how are they being notified if they don't come to these meetings, they don't read a newspaper? Is there any other way that you're communicating to them these new laws?
Yes. For the brush policy specifically, when we come to pick up, like if we come to pick up from you tomorrow,
Yeah.
we will leave you with a copy of the policy. All
And
my
then will I
guys,
go to my neighbors and
All-
let
yes.
them know?
yes, we
I
can.
make copies of that and put it on
All
your
right.
list.
Sure.
And it's also on our city website.
A lot of these people are old and they're not computer savvy, they don't have computers.
Well, I also have it on
But that's
my-
why I'm here a lot
I
of
also have
times.
a basic description on my answer machine down in my office if I don't happen to answer. But if I do answer, I've been explaining to several residents over the course of this week what the upcoming policy is.
Excuse me, I don't even know you.
I'm sorry, I'm Steve Welker. I'm the department, I run the
Is that
Department of Public
Steve
Works.
Walker?
Welker, W-E-L-K-E-R.
And where are you, Mr. Walker?
I run the Department of Public Works down in 420 South Taft.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm really appealing to you, Mr. Mayor, and the council. The noise ordinance. Summer is here, people are coming out of their homes, we have new residents, we have new homeowners, they're not familiar with any ordinances. They feel entitlement, and their entitlement is that I pay taxes, I own my property, and I can make as much noise as I want to make. They're not quite understanding the noise ordinance because it's almost like they feel it's giving them the privilege to blast their music where you can hear it 2 blocks away from where they live. Is that permitted? Now, maybe when they have a permit to have a block party, I would say yes. But certainly, they have the right to make noise, just like I or any other homeowner has the right to peace and quiet. That their home is their sanctuary, and they do not have to hear loud music from 12 in the afternoon to 12 at night. And I think that that's when the ordinance says that you have to stop making noise 11, 12 o'clock at night. So, they're also being informed that, they'll say, I called the police said to me there's a noise ordinance, so I'm following the noise ordinance. So no one is saying, be respectful of your neighbors, turn your music down so that it's just in the radius of your home, which people are still going to hear, but be respectful of the people that live next door to you as well as your whole community. So I guess what I'm trying to ask here is that when the police are asked this question about a noise ordinance, I feel that maybe they need to be a little more thorough and explain that yes, there's a noise ordinance, but please be respectful to your neighbors as well as let them know that there's a nuisance ordinance. Because people will be calling and complaining on their property and they're not going to know why they're getting fined if no one is coming, the police is not coming and telling them to turn the music on. Any other city I live in, noise ordinance or not, once the police are called, the police say to you, turn your music down, they turn the music down. They don't quote to you, there's a noise ordinance and you can make all the noise you want till 12 o'clock. Can we get any help on that?
I'll look at it. I'll look at the ordinance and I'll coordinate with the police department and see, how we can work together.
Sure. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Any other? Please come forward since you're just far away.
Megan Beck, I just had a couple follow-up questions to the rental permit change, the rental permit change. The price of for that per rental permit cost went from $1,000 to $600, and
That's correct.
so there was. It surprises me that that's still as high as it is, based on just seeing what other communities are charging for that, which is around 100.
My understanding, the solicitor said it was agreed upon
Okay, agreed upon.
by the complainant's lawyer and him.
Okay. So is there a breakdown then of the cost of the city?
I don't have it with me,
But there is
yeah.
such a thing.
And it could go up, because we were we were getting somewhere around 650, and the understanding was that he told the solicitor 5, and came to agreement.
I was just surprised, a few years ago I did research on that, and the highest I could find in the area was $135.
Yeah, but I think they charged for inspections and they charged for other things that we're not charging for.
I appreciate that, thank you very much.
Any other audience comment? All right, thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you to the library for allowing us to use this room again. This meeting is now adjourned.